Hello everyone and welcome back to Golden Chips, and we got our favourite flamingo adorning friend, George. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Ben?
It's all good. I didn't really comment. I'm not sure if I did comment on the flamingo last time, but
I
do love it. I do love it.
It would have been right to bring it out, but yeah, no. Well, sort of. I don't know any of the fans that maybe noticed little Easter egg to the previous couple podcasts ago, where we mentioned about an inflatable flamingo, if I remember. But I wasn't gonna cash out to that. That would have been the weirder Amazon purchase. But yeah, no, I'll just keep it in the background, something to look at. So there we go.
something fun.
That's it. Yeah, that's cool.
We got speaking of last episode, just a couple updates, because this was an internal debate in my head, right? Right until the end, and right until pretty much the day before we decided to record this, was it worth an update? But then I realized, like, we don't have anything more to add. It's it wouldn't. Yeah, we could talk about more allegations coming out. We can talk about the Overwatch League has lost a lot of major sponsors, but the crux of it is we don't have anything new, any new takes to come to the table. It's just beyond more shock value.
Yeah, I think it would have just been more
add.
I think it would have just been more like fetching. We would have just been like trying to grab what we could. Just it would have been forced. You know, what we did wasn't forced. It was shock. It was, this needs to be spoken about. But if we added to it, like you said, it would just be like reaching for something, and it would have worked. Not worth it.
It's like we had our takes. We went through the situation up to that point, and beyond that, it's like, by all means, like, continue to talk about it and put the pressure on, but not to the point where it's forced. Like, it doesn't feel right to. But we're not going to dwell on that for too long. Although that's actually brought an interesting idea to mind, is on the topic of esports, not about losing sponsors. But actually, no. I'll propose this question first to you, George. What new game do you see becoming in esports? I feel like there's a lot of game releases coming in either this or next year. But are there any of you seen that make you think, okay, this has potential here? Because I've got a couple in mind.
Are we going? We're going serious answer. I've got a game that I could suggest. That's not necessarily. Well, it could be. Depends how competitive.
Go on. I'm here.
Well, there's a new game that's recently come out. I'm not sure if you know. It's called Lawnmower Simulator, mate.
Yes,
that could be quite competitive. It could be quite competitive. I'm just saying. No, but I could discuss that in a mo. But I think on a real note, games that could potentially be good at esports. You know, I haven't seen any proper competitive games apart from Halo. That could sort of be put in the esports.
We'll touch on Halo in a minute.
On a real note.
We'll touch on Halo in a bit.
Yeah, of course, massive. No, I'm not really sure in regards to certain games that could make a new esports comeback sort of thing. Do you have? I'm assuming you have some in mind.
I've been looking at Splitgate a lot. Not gonna lie, Splitgate.
I've seen stuff about Splitgate.
Have you tried it? Have you tried it?
No. Someone said, like, passing on it. Like, I think I was scrolling through TikTok once, and then someone said something about it, and I was just sort of like, "Oh, one second, what is this?" And I've seen it crop up every so often, but it seems like sort of like a futuristic Halo sort of vibe, but like with its own spin, obviously. But no, please explain. I'm not really sure what it is. 100%.
You're half on the money. To describe Splitgate in a sentence, like to summarize the game, it would be Arena Halo with portals. It's like hence the name. The name. So
Splitgate. Splitgate.
It's so fun to experience. It's like, so you've essentially, it's like you've got your core shooter mechanics like Call of Duty, like your Halo, etc. But the spin on it is, I think it's like you have certain walls where you can place portals on, and that creates like extra lane options. So
of course,
it's like, instead of
no map's the same, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Okay. It's like instead of having like a choke point on a corridor, if you placed your portal right, it's like you can create an escape route, you can create a flank, you can create all these sorts of combat scenarios. It's like you can create ambushes. It's insane because you can't see through enemies' portals. You can camp them out, but you can't see through.
Yeah. But you won't be able to see what's on the other side. That's interesting, man. That's interesting.
I genuinely think that's like with the development. I genuinely see that as a game with like a really high skill ceiling. It's in beta. Like they actually had to beta. They had to increase the server capacity because everyone was trying to get on to the point where it just couldn't go.
It went up.
I remember seeing that in headlines.
That's mad. To be fair, it's not on that level, but you said something else again that has its genre or something. Like it knows what it wants.
Its own draw.
Yeah. There's a game that doesn't at the moment, and people are saying it's so generic. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's the Ubisoft game or the Ubisoft game that's come out where it's like this. It's like everyone's saying it's not really Tom Clancy. But
X-Defiant.
What's X-Defiant? And everyone's saying it's so generic, which it looks.
It does look
awful.
Extremely generic.
Like it looks all right. It looks playable, but it just looks like what we've already seen, like COD. Back in the day and stuff. It's nothing new. Even like when you come to like the HUD, boring. There's nothing to look at. It's not fun. It's not engaging. So I think that's quite interesting because that's.
I'm not sure what people are more mad about though. I'm not sure what people are more mad about though when it comes to that game. It's the fact that it looks so generic. Because don't get me wrong, it's like it's a case of if it ain't broke with a lot of things. It's like there's a reason that you don't see controllers with 3 sticks, or you don't. Right. Not the same example, but like kind of equivalent.
It's just not needed.
It's like. The FPS genre is so refined that you don't need to deviate it from that much.
Maybe that's what they're going for though. Maybe a simplistic sort of shooter, but then it does bring the question: is it Tom Clancy? Like that's the other part. Might hate about it.
That's the other part. I think people are more mad because it's not what you expect from Tom Clancy. It's like if it was a spin-off of The Division, I totally get that because The Division it has its sort of narrative, but on the whole it's like it goes off the rail.
For Division.
It goes off the rails.
Yeah.
So but if it was like The Division as well, it'd be fine, in my opinion.
Go on. Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. And because they've got the Dark Zone IP as well with that, so that could have been something they worked in, maybe a first person Dark Zone apocalypse, sort of a free kick. Because I always remember with the first Division it being the second Division's Dark Zone. I haven't gone in as much, but it wasn't as creepy for some reason. The first Division, it was just one Dark Zone, one DZ, and it was the creepiest experience you ever experienced because it was so. You felt so alone. You already felt
eerily
alone.
Quiet.
But in the Dark Zone, right? The new one, there's like 5 different DZs and they're substantially smaller. And it just, knowing that there's other DZs, it doesn't feel as good. Like what I felt with the first one was you had the non-contaminated area and you had that disgusting contaminated area where no one could go in without a face mask and stuff like that. And I just felt like that added so much isolation. But then knowing that there's others around, it ruins that illusion, I think, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't like Division 2's Dark Zones, but I feel that, like, back on topic, they could have done something a lot more Tom Clancy-wise and maybe put those in a nice way, if that makes sense. I just waste opportunity, let's say. But who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows, man?
It
could blow up. Could be good.
Maybe, but it kind of circles back. It's like it would work as a Division, like a Division spin-off, but the fact that they use Tom Clancy, it kind of goes into that whole idea of like desecrating an IP. So it's like, I mean, there's a good way to change an IP's direction and a bad way, and Ubisoft have managed to do both. Because you look at the old, like some of the other Rainbow Six games, and there's loads of difference between them. I mean, Siege, like you look at Siege compared to other Rainbow Six games, it's like some of them can be wildly different. Like some of them feel wildly different.
Yeah.
But then you've got the bad way to do it, where it's like it's it's completely like just tossed out. Like Splinter Cell, barely know her, mate. It's completely tossed out.
We haven't seen a Splinter Cell in ages. Yeah, he's been like teased in every game, but yet he's not technically. No one wants that. They just want another Sam Fisher game. You know.
Oh yeah, it's a whole carrot on a stick thing. It's a whole carrot on a stick.
And you know what? And I'd even go as further to say like, Tom Clancy hasn't peaked since Splinter Cell. Like that had one of the best stealth mechanics I've ever seen in a game. You know, better than Hitman personally, because it was arcadey in its own way as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you messed up, you know, you could redeem yourself, I think, when I used to play it.
You had a bit of a fallback almost.
Yeah, but I feel like Hitman, once you failed, it's like, well, okay, everyone knows you're there. And it's like, get out of there. It's like, oh, okay,
yeah,
great.
Yeah, it's like, you've blown the whole mission. You got to go something different.
Yeah, that's it.
You got to go on a warpath.
Exactly. But, I don't know, it's just a shame like you say, they've just forgotten about that IP. They've just sort of like thrown it away. It's like... Yeah, I mean, you're sitting on something, Ubisoft. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't forgotten about the IP, but I only say that because they've cashed on it in like mobile games. It's like baited it for so long that it's just it's just frustrating at this point. But
and then they like shit out the facts that it's like they've got that they had that Rainbow Six Siege extinction. Like alien sort of thing. I can't remember.
Was it Extinction or Extraction? Something like that. Anyway, yeah.
Nah, Extraction. Extraction sounds about right. Yeah. And now they're making its own solo game. Well, that's going to be fun for about a week, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just that's not what we wanted. Like, people will play it. We know it. It's easy. It's an easy play. But man, really, did we need? We had that. We had the event on Siege. We could go back to that when you bring back the event. It didn't need to be its own thing. It didn't need to be its own little game. But that's where we're at.
Yeah, Ubisoft seems to be going on a bit of a downturn again. I'm going to be blunt. They go through phases.
Because
they did good with Siege. They do bad with Extify, and now they're doing bad with Assassin's Creed, and then. Yeah, because
how did they do it?
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Infinity. Good things
about the update Valhalla. What's Infinity? The Valhalla DLC hasn't been received well. I don't think. I haven't seen much good about that. I could be wrong. But from what I've seen on my YouTube feed, it's not providing the greatest of like what went wrong. I've seen a lot of what went wrongs with the Valhalla DLC. But what's in Infinity's one?
Essentially, they're switching Assassin's Creed to a live service kind of thing. So after Valhalla, it's going to be like one continuous, kind of like GTA. It's going to be.
Oh no!
Yeah, no.
Really? You're not having me on that?
I'm not even having you on. I'm so sorry.
Ridiculous.
I'm so sorry.
What? Man,
I know. It's so frustrating because I feel like we're gonna hit a point of the game singularity where we're gonna get to a point. It's like whatever console generation or however far technology goes, we're gonna reach a singularity point where every genre has one specific game that has been running for 10 years plus. I mean, look at fucking GTA 5. Yeah. I mean, look at GTA 5. It's like we went through...
That's so frustrating, that is.
We went from 3 GTAs per console to 1 GTA for 3 consoles. Like, I'm not even having you on.
It's ridiculous when you think about it. Like, the first GTA came out... the GTA 5 first came out...
it was on the PS3.
2013.
And 360. I want to say 2013.
Yeah, I want to say that. And it's 2021. Add 2 years, mate. That's 10 years of one GTA. That's disgusting. That's actually like quite sickening.
It makes money. It makes money.
You had the likes of like 2004's. My dates could be put completely wrong, but I'm going to say 2004's San Andreas, right? Then 2008's Tom Clancy. What the hell? Tom Clancy. Yeah. No, 2008's 4. But then in the mix of that, you had just before San Andreas Vice City.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? What went wrong, man?
I don't know. I don't even know. It's
but
one
like
of
you say,
those.
they make money.
Yeah,
They make money from the online.
And like with
That's
everything
all it
else,
is.
it's a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's constantly churning out money, what's the point of making another game if you can save the development and keep the current one going?
I guess so, man. But it's just a bit
It just
grim
stings.
because
It stings
people
for sure.
Not everyone wants the online experience. You know, I've recently played in a game which I wish I played earlier. You might have heard of it, Hellblade. Is it like Siona's Sacrifice?
Yeah.
First time I played it, it's firstly, without getting too deep into it, without spoilers, it is probably the most disturbing thing I've played in a while, purely on how clever the sound is. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to spoil the main reason why I think why it's got like such a strong IP, let's say. But recently played that, and it's all single player. Obviously, it's just a single player game.
Yeah.
But at what point do we leave single player games behind? Because the whole reason why I think people enjoyed GTA 5 when it first came out was because it had that free character switch between story, and the story in itself was great.
It was a good story, yeah.
Yeah, but now it seems because they're making the bank off GTA Online, they're going to continue online and not really care about the campaign. Like, you can give us Red Dead Redemption, but it's not GTA, is it?
Yeah.
GTA has its own unique stories that no other IP has, and it's just a shame. It's just a shame that they made so much money off the online that they want to keep that going for a bit longer. Yeah. When's GTA 6 coming out? It's just like,
they've been baiting that for a good 5 years now, like clickbait YouTubers.
It's not been announced. That's what I don't understand, though. It's not not necessarily been announced. It's just been teased, rumored, like through
forever.
Is it the end of single player gaming?
No.
Who knows? Like,
there is such a thing as an incorrect answer.
I hope that's the case.
I don't mean to completely stub you there, but
no. Good. Thank God. Like, I hope I don't want it to be the end of single player gaming. Like, it needs to have a comeback where games just come out, released, complete, and they're just single player.
Yeah, if you had to put it to a timeline, it's like everything has gone to one extreme or the other. I feel in like recent years is that you either have annualized releases with minimal changes, a la FIFA, because it's like it makes the money, saves a buck. You can introduce new tech, but it's fundamentally the same game, the same mechanics, the same everything.
To be fair, they've overhauled it this year for 2022.
Haven't they said that like 3 years on the trot now, though?
Yeah, that's the only downside. Like, I've heard it before. I'm not a FIFA player, but I've heard it before. You know.
Yeah,
and I know my brother's gonna buy it next year. I know it. Like, it just is. It's how it works.
Yeah, it's like you can reinvent the wheel, you can buff it, you can polish it. It's still a goddamn wheel, right?
Yeah, it's still a
wheel. So you can talk about like overhauling animation systems and dynamic grass. It's like, dude, if the actual players themselves are like 100 pixels on my screen, how am I going to notice individual tufts of grass from that bird's eye view?
Yeah, for sure. No, that's that. Yeah. But 100%. Like,
yeah, and then the other extreme of that is you have like a live service game which like is just constantly being updated. Which, to be fair, it has its like there is a happy median ground. The happy median ground, I think, is something like The Witcher, like Witcher 3, which
is that.
It wasn't a live service, but it was like it came out. It had really good DLC for it, and it had a good amount of post-launch support. I actually think it's getting a new edition for the new consoles. I think with like improved textures and things like that. But it's like it had good content additions. It had like post-launch support regardless, like free updates with bug fixes. It was it's like I think that's like the best example of like a median ground, because here's the thing, like a bit of a tangent here. I don't mind paid DLC. I know there's this massive buzzwords and things like that going around, free updates and free post-launch content and season passes you can earn for free. I will happily pay for DLC if it's a substantial addition to the game. So it's like the Witcher expansions, or like if you think back to Forza Horizon 3, you had the Hot Wheels expansion, which was like completely different to any map you'd seen before. So it's like when you had your realistic maps. It's like Blizzard for that game. It's like you had two expansions. You had your base map, which was quite varied. Honestly, one of my favorite maps in the series. Although 5 looks to be replacing that with the way things are going. I'm so hyped for 5. I could talk about it all day.
5 does look good.
But to get back to the tangent, it's like you had Blizzard Mountain, which was okay. It's like on a mountain, like you had snow, you had blizzards, and it's like, okay, it's still Forza. It's still like core Forza. Like you've seen that kind of environment before. If anything, it was a rehash of Storm Island from the previous game. But then they came out with the Hot Wheels expansion, where you had like Hot Wheels tracks, you had Hot Wheels wheels, you had like going over mountains, loops, switchbacks. It was a completely different experience, and that's why everyone thinks it was the best expansion of all time.
Yeah, because I feel like 4 didn't peak to that level because they did the Lego. But I have one complaint with the Lego. It's not all Lego.
It's not actually.
Is that weird to say?
No, I get what you mean completely because I have the same criticism.
I don't understand. When they released Lego DLC, they were very clever into showing you what they wanted to show you, where you can drive around the little Lego place and it's all looking Lego. But you go out to the desert, you realise half of the trees are just trees. Why aren't all the trees Lego?
Yeah.
It's like I felt really cheated because you are just driving around in what seems to be a normal Forza map with a bit of Lego scattered every here and there.
I think Horizon 4 kind of sort of dipped though for one reason. It's like you had all of your other games. So obviously first Horizon Festival, like the first game, like that speaks for itself. You had the second game which expanded on that. It's like it brought more cars to the table, a bigger map, like more in-depth festivals. You had 3, which was a continuation of that. As I say, like you build your own festivals, you own the festivals, you can build your own events. It's like you can see like steady progression. It's like you have those core mechanics being built on. And then you had 4, which was built on what I feel was a gimmick, which was the seasons. And I feel like they compromised a lot to deliver on that vision.
They weren't that amazing.
No,
they were good. I'm not slagging it off in the sense that they did their job. They the best season was summer because it looked the nicest, and the best season was the worst season was winter because it made the roads icy. But it really wasn't as dynamic as I think they wanted it to be.
I think its novelty very much wore off. But it's a case of, well, I don't want to discredit the tech at play. I don't want to discredit the work that they've done because it's still
I know.
Regardless of the experience, like the work they put in the technology at play is like it's astounding. I find it really cool on a technical level, but
it is 100%.
It's like you said. It's no one wants to drive in winter, and once your novelty wears off of the seasons, and you realize, okay, like spring is just summer with lower grip level and a bit more wet, and then autumn is like a color palette change, and winter is just okay. Anything S1 and above, put it in the bin.
Nope.
No, not happening.
Yeah,
but
no, I agree. It's just.
I do feel like we have to wait and see though, but I feel like 5 is going to get it right because they still have seasons, but it's like you have the dry season, you have the wet season, you have the stormy season, and they have biomes as well. So it's not, it doesn't encompass the entire map. It's localized.
Yeah.
Which I think
interesting because then you can drive through them as opposed to being set in them.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Like,
so it's like you can see a storm rolling in on the living desert or something during the rainy season, and like
that would be
you could be in Guanajuato, which is like the main city, and you see like the living desert at the other ends of the map. You see like storm clouds hovering over, and you think, oh, I'll drive over to that. Like have some fun.
Cool. That's cool.
Have some fun in
the
thunder.
It's set in Brazil, isn't it?
Mexico.
Okay, sorry, my bad. Yeah, so it's hot country. Yeah, mad. Okay. That looks good. I didn't know that.
I feel like Horizon 4 was a test bed for the tech though, more than anything. And
yeah.
It showed in other stuff, like the car sounds as well. Like that was such a big point of contention, to the point where they had to make an entire live stream episode about it.
Yeah, it all sounded the same, I think, on number 4. All the cars, there was no uniqueness.
They just felt very flat. Like you had some cars that stood out, but like a lot of them felt very flat.
Out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. It's good to know that, you know, maybe back in safe hands with number 5. Maybe this will be the number 3 we've been waiting for.
Yeah, and so I feel like I've made peace with the fact that, okay, if 4 was the test bed to 5, I can live with that.
I'd say it's quite a good tangent onto, like, sort of. I don't know if you want to talk about it now or a bit later on, but how do you think they're going to do with Halo 5? Is that a test bed, do you think? Or Halo Infinite? Because they're testing the waters a lot with that, I think. They're
in
really
what way?
changing.
In what way?
They're changing up the gameplay. So there's no, like, for example, I saw where if you collect a power-up, you have to activate it. So that sort of can speed up, but also slow down the flow of the game, because you could use it to your advantage, or you could accidentally not use it, forget you used it, or forget you had it, and then just, you know, put yourself in a worse space, you know?
Yeah.
And also there's no dashing, so that changes, because Halo 5 changed everything pretty much in the way the game played.
I think they're rolling it back in a lot of ways as well.
Yeah, and Halo 5 plays well. Like, it's very skill based. I feel Halo 5. Like, I play a lot of that with my mate. Like, and it's just, you can quite easily, if you panic, it's all over. But I'm not sure for Infinite and how it might play. Is it going to play faster, slower? But I think they're testing a lot with that as well.
Yeah.
But also trying to keep it fresh, because they don't want to do what they did with Halo 4. That was an interesting Halo.
Yeah.
Where they made it like Call of Duty.
I think it is good though. I just want to say though, before we continue, I haven't played it. I didn't get on the test flight program.
My mate played it. I couldn't get on it, but my mate got on it. Luckily,
yeah, I didn't get on the program, but like it does look good.
I didn't know about it.
No,
it does look good.
I filled in like the insider form, and then I forgot like 2 things that basically rendered me ineligible. It's just I even made sure, like, double, triple check, and apparently I didn't. But double.
Nah.
And that's a tangent. But I
didn't even know about it until a week before it was going to happen. My mate was like, "Oh yeah, so I'm part of the insider thing for Halo Infinite." I was like, "What? Sorry, you get to play Halo Infinite?
Nah,
why didn't you tell me about this?"
Nani?
I was well devastated, man.
It does kill a little. It does kill.
Yeah, it does. It hurt.
But
I tried to save myself and went, but I was part of the Sea of Thieves one. He goes, "Yeah, everyone was." I was like, "All right, yeah, let me have this, please."
Let me have this, dude. Just give me
please, man.
Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Exclusive.
No,
but yeah, go on. So go on.
It was I'm just thinking now. It's like I remember being like, oh yeah, I got into like private alphas and private betas for certain games, and it's just like, yeah, bro, we all, it was an open beta. It's like, shh,
let me have this, please. This is all I've got.
I know, from what I've seen so far of Halo Infinite, I feel like it's a good change if they do it right. So it's like where you say like Halo 5, it's like if you panic, you're screwed. I feel like that's more of a focus on like fluid gameplay, but I feel like they want to change Halo back to a more tactical experience. It's like you get an overshield, you have to activate it, and what that says to me is like, okay, instead of getting it instantly and letting it burn out, you have the option now. You can hang on to it, get into a firefight.
It's sort of similar to what they were saying. Yeah,
it's like you can use it to become like a tank, while everyone else sort of like focus fires on someone, or you can use it as like an escape route. So if you're getting piled on, then you've got a few extra seconds to get out of there with an overshield. Yeah, and stuff like the drop wall as well. I find that so. That's what
I was going to say about that. Yeah, because no one really used the bubble shield. Like the bubble shield was cool, as in if you knew how to use it, but it was too big, and like you'd get in it, you can't shoot out of it. it sort of defeated the like you were gonna die because someone was just gonna charge in or throw
throw an aid,
throw you off, throw an aid, so. But the wall, like as the gameplay that I've seen, he put the wall behind him, and my mate had to explain to me what exactly that meant because I was a bit confused of what that did. He basically said like he put it on that door, so firstly he can hear them shooting at it if they are, and obviously it means that he is protected from his back, but he can now focus on the front.
And he has time to react as well.
Right, yeah, but awful player because he died before anything even happened, but. That's just how they play. They're terrible, the people that play it on the betas. But like it is interesting because it's the bubble shield idea, but as like you say, just a wall, and it's much more tactical. It's easier like to use, and you can really have an advantage on someone by using that.
Yeah. I think the whole concept of like giving you options like that, they're deliberately engineering to have a high skill ceiling. I mean, go back to the drop wall again. The fact that it's sectioned, the fact that it's not just a whole singular piece, means that like people, like the people who are quote unquote low skill will just stand in one place, shoot through or like shoot around, and then they'll just get like hit in the face. But if you're using it to its maximum capacity, it's like you can move across it, you can use multiple sections and then peek out of said sections to fire while still having protection. And it's just that like that core design principle, just like, all right, we're giving you these options, like choose how you want to take this firefight. And with the long TTK and everything like that, it's just it's going back to much more tactical, and I really like that idea.
It's looking good. I feel like it's going to bring back that sort of MLG feel that Halo 4 definitely didn't have. Halo 5 had it, but its own MLG uniqueness sort of, pace to it. But it's going to bring back that Halo 3, that Halo 2 sort of feeling where it's very much, if you're a bad player, you're a bad player. If you're a good player, you're a good player, if that makes sense. Because Halo 5, anyone could be a good player in it, I think, just the way I've played it. Like, and then I've played on other ones, and I've struggled more because it is how good you are with the mechanics that they've given you. But it's looking good. I'm intrigued for the pistol as well, on a side note, because Halo 5's pistol was like a mini, like, DMR. It was snappy as hell. But this one seems a bit more like it takes a lot. I don't know, but we'll see.
It's like from what I've seen with the pistol, it's like some people actually prefer it to the AR, which I find really interesting.
I agree.
It's like, again, kind of goes back to the whole sentiment of being tactical. It's like a lot of people drop their ARs, keep the Magnum, and then swap the AR for a plasma pistol to go for
pistol or a BR, something else.
AR go for the shield.
Wasn't great.
Go for the shield destroy and then finish off with a Magnum.
That's it. Literally. When I play, like, I'll always switch to the pistol. Like, if we always have when we set up our games, me and my mate on a 1v1 to warm up, we always have a BR and a pistol. I'm always running around the pistol until I need the BR. Like, you could dominate a game with just the pistol easily. It's so good, but I know that might be different for Infinite. It just doesn't. It's not as punchy. There's something off of it. It's more like the gunfighter pistol Magnum is the closest we have right now on Halo 5. The faster pace, less damage at the moment. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. They've got time. They've got plenty of time to tweak things, and that was a technical test anyway. For the most part, it's like stress loading the servers and
just seeing how it all goes.
Testing live updates and testing performance especially on PC, because I was seeing a lot of reports on like chugging on PC or having low frame rates despite having a really high end GPU. But I really appreciate that. It's like companies can take two approaches. Like, they can be open and transparent, or they can be like really closed doors. But I think having that open communication to say, like, okay, this is a technical test, expect bugs, expect frame rate issues, expect poor performance. But it's like it gives you confidence, because
it does.
If they're willing to acknowledge it, if they're willing to acknowledge it and they're willing to actually like listen and be human, I think that's the main sentiment. It's like why people hate certain companies, and I've been trying to solve that question in my head for what feels like years, but I sort of came across the solution not too long ago, and it's made a lot of sense. The reason people hate companies as a whole, like bad PR, like people, like companies with really bad PR, one of the main reasons they hate them is that they're afraid to be human. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Elaborate though.
Yeah. No.
I get what you mean.
No, fair enough. So look at EA, right? They have a massive controversy. They have getting flack left, right, and center, and yet all their PR responses to like sort of pat themselves on the back, deny, like gaslight. I mean, look at Activision Blizzard as well. It's like we're gonna flip back a little bit there. Look at them. It's like they vehemently denied allegations. They passed the blame onto lawmakers. They refused to acknowledge it existed. It's like, we're as a company, we're doing great, and this investigation is not reflective of our company values. It's like you're afraid to be human. And I feel like you're shunning that connection, which like at the core, having that connection is what sells. It's like established. Like it establishes goodwill. It sells. It's like if I were EA, it's like, oh, if I were EA, says everyone. And it's like if I was in Andrew Wilson's shoes, like the CEO of EA, if I was in Andrew Wilson's shoes there, and let's say like I was at the time of the whole Battlefront 2 loot box thing came up, instead of fighting to the death, like I just come out as be human for a second. It's like, yep, we screwed up. We're removing the system from the game. Yeah, we're sorry.
Be honest about it.
Yeah, and if like lawmakers want to get involved, cooperate. Don't like make a big fuss and storm, and don't call them surprise mechanics in a US court.
Yeah.
Because you just make yourself look like an idiot.
Halo, like 343, are a good example for that. Like they knew that they messed up with Halo 4, and they needed to change things drastically for number 5. Like the fact that they put a kill cam in, and they knew that they went wrong when they made it a very COD feeling sort of experience, and that's not what people wanted. Yes, you could tweak your controls, but you still had a kill cam. That's not Halo.
That isn't Halo.
And they didn't necessarily apologize, but they bloody listened. They changed it, didn't they? You know, they instantly went, all right, no kill cam, fine, fair. You know, people hated that. So companies do care, but it is showing that it is showing that.
It's the other thing. They don't have to be.
We messed up.
Yeah, they don't have to be explicit about it either.
No, they have to be vocal about it.
Yeah, it's like if they like with 343, it's like they've completely changed up the formula twice now. You think so? It's like you had Halo 4, which is very COD-like. Yeah, you had Halo 4, which is very COD-like. Halo 5, which had its own like unique formula. I haven't personally played it, so I can't comment much. That's your field of expertise.
It is unique. It is unique. It's Halo, but it's Halo where the best place Halo could have gone
from where
COD
it has foundation.
Been. Like, what else could they have done? And that was like, oh, okay, that works. It was just getting used to that sort of like new way of playing. But once you got in that, you felt you were playing a Halo game, basically.
And then you've got Infinite, which like harks back all the way to the core formula of the Reach of the Bungie era.
Of the Bungie era. Yeah, respectful. You know, so it's looking good. But also, like you say, they don't need to openly go, all right, sorry. I do it, but they just show it, prove it. Like, you know, that takes more. Actions speak louder than words is, I guess, the way to say it. Like on a deep note, you know. But I mean, speaking of like just moving on for like sort of that though, but like unique games out there that are just so unnecessarily weird was back to when I previously said about the games that esport that could take off. Lawnmower Simulation
You have my interest. You piqued my interest, dude.
How do I sell this to you, Ben? You mow lawns for money. You increase your business. Yeah, there you go. No, but that is what you do, man. You just mow lawns, and there's something so relaxing about it and so wholesome. You start off with you have the option of picking 2 different lawnmowers. You choose which one you want, and they're better in their own ways. You take on jobs, and you can eventually hire other people to do the jobs for you to get more money in. You can even invest in a loan, which you have to pay back if you want to buy more things. You can have a warehouse where you can store up to multiple different things. And as a simulation game, it's bloody accurate. It's really weird. Like,
I mean, what inherent depth is there to mowing lawns? I'm gonna be real with you. It's not a multi-leveled thing. It's just funny blade and guru are in a big box.
Yeah, literally. And you get time limit to how long they want your job done, just to get a bit extra cash. If you go over, it's all right. Don't worry, get the job done. You're just not gonna get that extra bucks in. It's very weird. And when it first came out, I saw it on one of the Xbox On sort of channels, and I was like, huh? Really? And I even turned to one of my colleagues at work when I saw it, and I just went like,
really?
They're making a lawnmower simulator game? And it was like, what are you on about? And then we downloaded it. My mate downloaded it, and I was like,
actually
kind of good.
Yeah, actually.
I just and it's one of those things, you can't slate it until you've tried it, I've realized. But I could be wrong. It could be probably a really awful game, and I'm just giving it too much praise. But
game of the year.
It's hella unique. Yeah, game of the year. And you know what? It's the first one. I'm waiting for this to become the next farm simulator. There's so much potential, I'm telling you.
I don't know what it is about those kinds of simulator games, like farming simulator, lawn mowing, car mechanic. I got car mechanic simulator literally today. I was playing it. I was playing with it until you messaged me. But it's
I'm not gonna lie, mate. I was on Lawnmower Simulator before I came on the podcast.
Yeah, so it's so dumb. I love it though.
Yeah.
But it's like they're never going to be accurate to the real thing, but they managed to gamify it just well enough, so it's fun. Definitely. I remember Car Mechanic Simulator 2015, I want to say.
Wow. Okay.
And I remember when they added engine swaps, and that was the shit.
Yeah, that was it. That was mad.
Yeah, and then I remember finding a bug with a specific version of a vehicle that allowed you to fly if you flipped it over.
Nice. Makes no sense, but we'll go with it.
But here's the thing: that's what made it fun.
That's what makes it. Yeah,
it's like
just as they hit realistic, they're not. It's like, well, actually, to be fair, look at Goat Simulator. I know that game's been abused and it's a bit dead now. I don't think people play it as much, but it is really when you think about it, because it was advertised as a goat simulator. Like, you just play as this goat, and what does that mean? You eat grass, and then you played it, and they even said, I think Coffee Studios even said, if there's a bug, unless it breaks the game, don't tell us about it, basically. Like, if it's a game-breaking bug where you physically can't play it, please let us know.
Then we'll
fix it. If it's a bug where you get flung across the map because something's gone wrong, don't tell us about it. We'll keep it in, because it's just fun. It's like mad respect to that. I love it. But yeah, no, Goat Simulator is a prime example of just a simulator game that's pretty perfect, because what is it simulating?
A goat.
The life of a goat.
Yeah, and I think that's the perfect example as well. It's just like devs just having fun.
Yeah,
just having fun with it.
And they had they had the text perfect as well. It was a cool game. Could they bring another one out? I think they could. I'm looking, maybe. Who knows?
I don't know.
But,
I don't know.
Could it be a farm simulator thing? Because I've always found with farm simulator, it's just quite difficult to play, because it's not accurate, but it is very complicated.
Yeah, it's in depth enough to where it's kind of feel like it has a difficulty curve.
Yeah, like you can't. I don't know. I haven't really given it its due, but I think, as like with Flight Sim that's recently come out again, it needs a lot of work. It's good, it's fun, but there's still a few loose ends with it. I think some places aren't as great, but that's a different tangent. But I think with Farming Simulator, it's very much so like you say, it's in depth. I don't think you can necessarily change the setting to make it easier. You just have to learn the mechanic.
Yeah.
But with Flight Sim, you can make it like, all right, I'm just going to be able to fly, turn the engine on, fly, cruise, land, easy. But with Farming Sim, you've got to like know every vehicle. You got to understand how it works, what bit goes up and down. And that's
what some people. That's some people's cup of tea. I mean,
that is
hardcore Sims. I mean, especially in the racing genre as well. Like,
I mean, I remember when I went on like Train Sim, and I just didn't stop at any station. I just floored it. But you know, that's just how I play them.
Yeah, those hardcore Sims have their place. I mean, it's like, especially in racing, you look at things like iRacing, Assetto Corsa, and it's like the sim racing genre. It's like is
that the likes of like the F1 stuff? So you're like Dirt. Is Dirt part of that F1?
I wouldn't say so. F1 has an esports championship, but Dirt's the arcadey one.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, all right, yeah. But I'm not like hot on the racing sims. I know that is it what's it called? It's not F1. Is it? It's going to sound stupid because it's not called that, I don't think. But race car, it's not race car. That's silly. Oh, what is it? It's very similar to F1. What is it?
I can tell you. It's like you've got, for hardcore sims, it's like you've got Assetto Corsa, you've got iRacing, you've got Project Cars. I don't know.
Project Cars. That's the one.
Yeah,
that's realistic enough, isn't it?
Yeah, the first and second ones were, but the third one, the third one tried to be a Forza. It was really, It was really weird. So Slightly Mad got bought out by Codemasters, I think, when they were making Project Cars 3. And I don't know what happened. I don't think it's ever been explained, but they decided we've got this really good engine. We've got this really good game engine for simulating cars. So it's like even things down to like the tire grain and pebbles on the racetrack. They've got this really insane like game engine for car simulation.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the pipeline, they decided to make it into an arcade, almost Forza-like game. And
what?
I think it. All right, hot take here. I think Project Cars 3 was a good game, but it wasn't a Project Cars game.
Okay.
It's the same argument as how we had earlier with Tom Clancy and X-Defy.
Yeah.
I imagine it's a good fully a game in its own right, but it's not. It's not a Project Cars. It's not a Tom Clancy.
It's not quite carling, you know.
It's
just not there. Like it's good, but it's not carling, you know. Yeah. No, that's fair. That's such a shame.
I think it would have done well if it wasn't marketed as a Project Cars game. If it just made its own like spin-off or made its own IP altogether, I'm sure it would have done great.
Spin-offs.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with spin-offs, but don't
desecrate.
Because then you lose the trust in the fan base, don't you? Really, like they're wanting to go in expecting it to be a Project Cars game, and like you said, you're getting like a mockery Forza Horizon with a few extra little pebble tweaks. I don't know, I haven't played them, but like that's just it's a bit annoying. It's just a bit annoying that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's grim, man. That's quite upsetting.
It's like, it's like they marketed it all the way as a sim, like as a Project Cars game, all the way until the end. It's like, how can you both simultaneously be a simulation game with, like I said before, pebbles? Actually, no, they're called marbles. It's like little bits of rubber when you're racing. It's like you get little bits of rubber on the racetrack, and you. At the edges of the track, they're called marbles. They're not pebbles. Sorry, but how can you market it?
I just assumed.
How can you market it as a sim? but at the same time you're saying there's no pit stops, there's no refueling, there's no tire wear.
What?
How?
Come on.
Yeah, like that dichotomy that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, that is grim, man. I think there's a reason why I haven't seen anyone on my friends list play that game. It's like no one's got it. Oh, that's a well upsetting thing.
It's a bit of a sound, but what have we learned here today? Companies, don't be afraid to be human and don't desecrate your IPs because that erodes the trust.
Yeah.
100% erodes the trust.
Yeah. And be unique. Be unique, but respect what you had first, all right?
If you give me,
bring us a blooming. I was gonna say bring us a Splinter Cell game. It's like give us it back, but who knows? One day.
It's like don't give me 5 times. Don't give me cheese 5 times, and then on the 6th time, make me expect cheese and give me tomato. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll be quite disappointed. Like, don't promise us.
Don't mismarket me. Don't bait and switch us. But hey, that's going to do it for today's episode. Bit of a shorter one because I'm short on editing time because I'm in the throes of my new job. So, any passing thoughts, George? Any passing thoughts before we end?
I think passing thoughts would be just sort of if there's any simulation games that need to be made, it needs to be a franchise of Lawnmower Simulator because there's so much potential. I'm 100% adamant on that. There's so much potential, man. It has to be. And if there's not, then I'll stick to the one that I already own.
He's too powerful. He's too dangerous to be kept alive.
Oh yeah. You don't even know. But as always, though, thank you for having me on.
No worries, my brother. And we will see you all in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.